I'm all excited. Avenue Blofeld, can I see your name out loud? Otherwise, I won't say it at all. But probably nobody really understood what I said, and they're not going to search it out to see if that person is actually here to know that I didn't say that name at all. What was that? I didn't hear you. What? See, now I have to check. That's why I'm slowing down a little bit. Dawn. You know, my son is named and he's my avenue. Dawn is D 4 O equals the 15th letter 415. N is the 14th letter 41514. Donovan O15 OV22 OEN or AN 114. Abraham. The two moons of Mars, the dawn of the day, the ray of the light, the taste of the flower and the fruit that brings on the extraterrestrial heaven, ETH, the love of the extraterrestrial heaven, METH, electronic love of, in which the E and M, which are together, make the 5 and 13, or the 5 and 13, the orange ball, stripes and solid, SNS, the water flow of the soul, for the 91 spirit of 19, getting 2 N's because you enlighten the whole body. Soul is only the living being of which is and is constructed and is run from the heart and all the organs that are bound to it. But it is nothing more than that. Without the entrance of the spirit, in which the soul has built an information center to put matrix within inside his mind, so he can do everything he needs to do, all his movements. Because I don't do any of these movements if it wasn't for a period of thought, of a better understanding that there is a difference between what you do and what you see you do, what you notice. So Blofeld, I just wanted to mention your name because you said I was sort of like death-defying. Was that a bad thing? Can't make it a bad thing, but I got to be pretty honest. But I can't tell you everything because some things are general and other things are private. So in all actuality, whatever you base in this world, Matrix has to run a certain way. If Matrix shared certain things, everything would be destroyed because certain areas of elements don't think. But if you teach them to think so they can watch what you're doing, and they do watch. I got too much sugar, but I don't have diabetes because my body takes care of it. It knows, it reads, it's a computer system that reads. If it shares its information or mixes with another area, it'll all shut down. We need a basis. You need a box. We need hydro to come in, bring us the poles, set the dams afire and let the waters run. Moving the generators brought in through the wires because we're sucking it into the building. It's a continuous energy, that hydro. Otherwise, what, you would have to pull it in from the main post? It's got to be always flowing, doesn't it? I don't know how electricity works. If it's not always flowing, when I touch it, when I touch the two sides, that's when I regenerate. I take the energy from the posts. Anyways, we're not getting into this right now. I'm death-defying. So let's talk about number 4. 4 and 4 is 8. If you design 2 4s on top of each other, right, it looks like doesn't it look like the H? Is this not the H, right? That's the H. You turn it aside, it looks like 2 C's, right? A C on one side. But take another look. It's a jack. Somehow 4 turns into jack, but jack is 10 and 4 is 4. 2.5 dozen equals 30. That's the creation of the eggs. Because look, you have an area here, an area here, and an area here. But if you really look at it, it's more like the swastika, right? Like over here. But this is like one part of the question mark. Have you ever seen the way you divide? Sorry, I just want to go back to this is 4 and 4 is 8H, or C and C is 6. And the cube runs on the world of 7. This and this, 7. This and this, 7. This and this, 7. Doesn't matter what you do. It's always 714. Because if the dice goes up this way, it's going to be 7. If I see the dice this way, it's going to be 7. And if I hold the dice this way, it's going to be 7. And for number 7, they gave me 5 dice, because they all know we got to hook the electric up and there ain't no any. Look! Bicycle cards, the cycle, CYC. Wait a second, we're going to have to skip over that and skip back to this, because I've been with Mary Jane. You know that? I've been with Mary Jane in more than one place. You know why I like to be with Mary Jane? Can I call you Mary Jane? Call you Mary Jane, because you get me high. You like that, eh? So do I. No, I don't mean you personally. I just like what I said. But I don't like to look at it as me. I don't want any of the pressure of taking anything on me. Let me feel good. Let me tweak me, right? Let it tweak me. But I really just want to be the revolver around the bigger machine, learning the smallest of pieces of information that are so vital to the better understanding if we had to understand the question that was asked for, the answer that was given, to justify whether the answer that was given has a grounds and basis, okay, for relevance that others may believe. And I only can bring it out, but if there's not a crowd to look, then I wouldn't know any more than I think of the question I have for my own self. So that's why it's got to be big. And I want it to be like this. Because no matter what, okay, just like at the McDonald's now, they have one here and they have one here. Okay, that's where I usually hang out. I usually use most of it writing. I walk out of McDonald's, they say, sir, you got toilet paper. I says, what does it say on it? It says, do not touch, right? So don't touch my toilet paper. Brown, 72. Red, 2799 Jupiter. The electronic train set is starting to move. It can only be found in the 7 card. It is 5 and 2 because 5 is opposite of 2, making 2 minus 5. 5 minus 2 is 3, and that is the creation of who you are. 5 and 2 is 7. But 2 corners are duplicated on the dice. Now we're going to show you this, but I didn't finish with 4. On the dice cube, here's a 3, and here's a 4. Okay, but we're going to do a different number. 1. Okay, no, I can't do that. 2, okay, and 6 equals 8. 6 and 1 equals 7. 2 and 5 equals 7. So the numbers we just mentioned, that 2 brought on 5, and 6 brought on 1, 5 and 1 are now 6, and we got it from 2 and 6, which made 8, and that's why it's 777. All the time. All the time. You're the 2 body. Isn't man the 2 body of the one spirit? This goes right over here. Okay? This 9 equals 10, because although we have 6 sides, each side has 9 positions. 9 times 6 is 54, unless, I'm getting all excited here because I might be saying something I haven't said that people might see that this is new stuff. I want new stuff, nuality. I don't want anybody to get bored. I can't afford to lose my audience. But if I said 2 minutes ago I really don't want sort of an audience to feel anything at all, the purpose and the interaction between us will find something deeper into any of the questions we have that is pertinent to the person who's thinking it. It's only pertinent. Imagine 100 people are watching me right now, each one saying bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But if there's one person who found something in there, that's a needle in the haystack, my friends. It's that one person who sees it different from everybody else that is going to see the difference in which might, if I have to be the one answering all the mail, I say it'll give me a reaction to say, hey, I got something new to study. What is the question? I should have some sort of book to show everybody how you can start by asking questions. And one of the ways, oh, I like that picture, this one over here. Every time I look at that, my heart drops. Anyways, I don't know, must be the tattoo or something. So now we're going to do, and we're going to take out 2 dice, 6 and 3. You see the number 3 over here? Okay, now, do I do it this way or this way? But you see the dice? Look at this. Hold on a second. This, and this, and this. Whoop, and I lost that one. Okay, you see these? You see this 6 here? You see this dot? We'll put it in the center. Everything else is okay. We got a dot here and a dot here, a dot here and a dot here, right? This gets lost in both corners. Let's remove that dice. Then we do the number 4. We got the 4 inside the 6. Let's get rid of the 4. We'll take out and we'll go to the 5. Whoop, switch the wrong dice. We go to the 5 and the 6. We take the 5, we shove it in the 6. Does the 5 disappear? Are all the dots matched on the 5? Just the one in the center, right? See? Whoop, let me take that one. We got the 6. So now we've tried them all. The 1 goes in the center, okay? The 2 goes on each side and are lost. The 3, only 1 goes into the center. The 4 goes into the 4 corners. And the 5 automatically goes in the 4 corners and the dot. This area and this area are gone. That is 2 and 8. It is BH. It is the beta world of time heaven. T and H, ETH, FREMETH. It's actually F6, man, for the 2 sides of the 3 worlds are the angel residency, electronic angel residency of the M world. 4, 1, 5, 3, 6. And it plays out on roulette, and you can play it out on roulette. I'm not exactly sure which numbers we can play this on, but let's say we play it center field. Center field would say 16 and 19, which will be 35, down to 20, which makes it 55, over to 18, 65, 73, and down to 21, 83, 93, 94. That's the exact number for Uranus. Now, if we flip this upside down, because the roulette table, okay, is tied. Okay, the roulette table is tied up. It's tied up right over here. We go up to here, down to here, up to here, and down to here. Now, the question is, there's no rules set here, but this is the only table with 1 here and one arm here, a meeting point here, and an arm here. Only the M can do this. And if you really take a look, start from here to here to here to here, you do have your M. Okay? So whatever it was, now if we flip it upside down, this is what the result is. 35, 45, 52, 62, 72, 73, 83, 91. This one becomes 91. The other one was 94. 91 is your spirit. 94 is Uranus, your two-way connection to the Mars moons. When I showed you these dice and number 6 does not fit, okay, I told you you already start with 9 by having the dice. You start with 9 with having the dice. You have the six sides. You have 9 and 6. Now we've got a problem. So we've got something up here. We've got a brain up top. But what about the rest of our body? Does it just cords that we're pulling all the time from one area? Or is there another one of this? Well, since we had time heaven, and we saw the 2 areas, which could be me and you, which would be 2 up here and 8 below. So if it was 2 and 8 that was missing, so we'd have to put 2 and 8 onto the 9 and 6 sides. Now, these are 2 numbers missing. We use the number or the space. 1 space here and 1 space there. We had 9 spaces in which 2 spaces are not used. Let me do this very easily. Looks a little digital-like, right? Because we couldn't use these 2 parts over here. You had 9 spaces and you were using 7, in which part of one was aiming down, another one is aiming up, but every other one is going around. So when you go around, and don't forget, it's 3. You go, watch this, 1, 2, 3. See the other ones on that side? So you don't add it on because you're not going back to the beginning. So you keep it here. So if I said 3 times 5 is 15, 1 and 5 is 6. No matter what you do, everything must be multiplied by 3 or 4. And this is one of the reasons. So you have the down and the up. You have 4 sides of 14, but it's not 14 because you got to turn it. When you turn this, these digitals turn the other way. This is your life and the running time that brings the night from the day. The night from the day. What would it mean, the night from the day? You get the 6, and then you keep going around and you get to, oh, 6 was like this. Now is it like this, or is it like this? The angle of our life is like this, okay? When you put this like this, you will end up drawing for yourself the N letter. I'll just draw it on. You end up drawing you'll end up drawing the N letter, okay, which looks like the Z, which could be partaken for a 7, and then if you round it out at the corners, it can look like a 2. Why would I talk this way? Let me tell you why I talk this way. I opened up this Hebrew book and was teaching you about letters, and it told me exactly the same thing. If you round the corner of a letter, it'll look like a resh. If you cut it off and you put it too long over the arm, it'll look like a dalet. If you don't extend the line, it will be a final shaf. So if the Hebrew book is telling me that I've got to do this to the letters and to make sure, I sure as hell won't go away from my square paper. I got to be as close to precise, and I've never been more straight with myself in my whole life. I feel good. I feel like I'm wearing a belt and suspenders when I use this. Now, what was I going to show you about this? Is that since we had 9 on one side, and on all sides by 6, there are 54. 54 is the number of love. 9 and 9. So, but we're not gonna count that. So, yeah, sure. If you want to count that man has one of these, you automatically have to say man is 9 times 6, 54. Plus 9 and 6, 69. But let's go with the basics. We got 54. 9 times 6 is 54. That's what we have here. 54 on 6 different sides that have 9 to a side. You see, I keep breaking up. Now, if we need the top man 2 and 8, okay, if we need this heaven of 2 and 8 to bring back the 6 that is missing, how much would that take? That would take another 10. So if we had 54, and the 10 would be 64. 64 is man X. So now we have the 64, but wait, we can't leave anything empty. Nothing goes empty. So what we have to do is we have to take this 6, okay, and we have to turn it. That's fine. But when man has a face of creation, in order to do this properly and to get with all results, you'd have to, I'm just trying to pick up my dice so I can show you. Give me a second here. Okay. Give me a second here. I'd like to just tape it up or something. And this, I'm gonna try and see if I can fix this. I'm trying to design something, and I don't really want to give it away. So. Okay, I'm going to show you like this. This is it. You see? This one turns on this angle, and all of a sudden the 3 of creation that is in the other world is now turned on this angle. And then it looks like this. Coming up to a red light, turning a baton, having 2 ends of a football, blowing your horn, whatever you want. This is your cube, okay? So now we know that what we had as a cube is now no longer 2 cubes, we now have 3 cubes, because we can't make it any other way, because wouldn't we need man's hips? Hey, wouldn't we need the hip of the ship to come together? How would we do this? Would we do it that way? How would we build it? We know we have to build the letter T. They told us it's at the crossroads. This is only one part of your differential of your car. How many dice you have? How many numbers do we have? 21, 21, 21, 21, 21. This is your 105, and you created your T. Okay? Now the question would always come like this. Okay? Doesn't matter if I do this, it fits. But if I do this, This does not fit. This because my shoulders. Do you understand? The way these two dots will go right over here. So if I turn this the other way, this dot and this dot will go here and here. So now I'll have 9 to my side. Anytime one of these dice moves, one of these has to match the difference for the totality. And the plug-in, okay, the plug-in, because of here and here, the plug-in that's over here on this is your head. It's like how can I show you? Okay, now what happens? Here's the plug-in. Okay, without this in between here, this doesn't work. This goes in between 2 to make of 3 this way 1, and that's how come we have to move the 3. Now, if I took the 3 and put it with the 5, and I turned it this way, okay, I would make a total of, if I turn this way, I would get 2, 4, 5, 6. I would have a total of 6. Okay, but do you see that? No, I would have to have a total of 7. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd have a total of 7. But this one duplicates, right? So do we want to keep it and say we have 8? No, we've already got one over here. We don't want to talk about this one. In all reality, right, you actually want this one. This is the number for love, okay? But if I take this and put it inside of this, if I take this and put it inside of this, this is the 5, right? If I take the 4 and put it this way, okay, making a line here, a line here, a line here, and here, now I would have made the love of the sun, the love of 4, king's hat. You don't want to cross together. This is the ground. This is the ground. The feet have to be different. This is the element of the current. Okay, these dice, okay, what do you want them to do? They came here to do something. One of these equals to 21. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 7 plus 3 is 31. That's the only way to get the 31 numbers in the 7 months of the year of a dice that only lasts in the 7 world. Why? Because man is the other 2 plugins. Man is the plug-in. I'm the piece. The dice has to form to my head, and it clicks into place, and all of a sudden in spot number 2 and spot number 8 and whatever else happens comes into place. Take out that cube, and I'm not who I am anymore. I'm nothing. Plug back that cube inside my head into that position, and you're born with it. But you're not born with it until somebody gets out a piece of paper and he draws a formation up, and he says, this is what we're building now. And you got to write it all out. And you got to study it first. What do you think, you just build? Yeah, we're going to build a house. Somewhere you built that idea of building a house. You know you need a hammer, so you went to get a hammer. You know you need a nail, so you went to get a nail. So you built it before. And you say you didn't? So every piece and part in our body has been built on a piece of paper before anything has happened at all. Were there trial and error? Of course there was trial and error. But isn't there trial and error in doing everything? The greatest robotics that ever lived in the world, that can have as much compassion and go as low as to the asphalt as possible, to kiss the ground just because life is beautiful. Well, you can't say that to a robotic, to any of the robotics, unless they were told to do it. We don't have to be told. We learn to understand why we should kiss the pavement and thank God, because God is a system. And his son Christ is the one who runs the system. The crown, the queen of Mary Magdalene, who holds on to this crown, because it is the only source to reunite the spirit and soul world, is through the Son, the Son, and the God, and the Holy Ghost, which is Mary Magdalene. This machine, my friends, is the greatest thing they've ever built. If you just need one thing, you only need one thing, an imagination. The thought of a possibility, and to build within your own mind, and to see that there's a possibility, that it exists, and then to believe within the possibility that it really does exist and there's a chance, and can't even find reason why it shouldn't exist. That is the greatest thing about God. He brought you to see the complete halo of life. In order to make it the golden halo, the only way to go with the flow is to have to and want to know, for the better or worse of all, you put on the ring, you are married for life until death do you part. Raphael, 7286, in the constellation of Pegasus. Number 11, watch out for the trains on two sides of the track. This is your backbone snake of any devoured move you might choose, whether it's on spirit or whether you want to blame it on soul. But your head goes here and here's your tail. You're stuck to the ground from your nuts below. And your nuts above also, because we might be upside down. Your nuts can be here. See her swinging Hello Mary in the air. Can't leave out anything. I saw the Kalesh today. The Kalesh were ringing the bells. Kalesh actually seems to say ring bells, but they were horses walking in the snow with a sleigh. And there were big horses, and people were going slow. Slow. So slow it was crawling underneath my skin. But then I was able to hear the snow rustle. And I says, well, why do I want to hear rustle at all? He's my nephew in the city. I love him. I saw the dawning come, but that's my son. I called him Dawn just for the fun. He is the Ray, but that's his second name. He's an extraterrestrial. I know, ETH is his last name, and he comes from the family of Tsars. Tsars of It, which is the PC-29 of the sky. Because that's his maiden's mother's, my mother's, his maiden grandmother's maiden name. Maiden fame. And I'll tell you, my fellows, now where are we next with this? Wow. You know what's funny? Now, we have to talk to Lionel. This is so crazy. You know the Jeffersons had Lionel? Jeffersons? I'm always coming up with 106, and I'm never sure what to do with it, but it's electric company in two areas, 53 and 53. It's also a reflection of the 1010 world of 5775. You can, the closest numbers that brings it together, regardless of what you do, is Z and Y. And the Y is yo, and it's the electric company. It's connected to the child, the electronic sun, the robotic, artificial intelligence. Here we are. How intelligent are we? What should we do with our great intelligence? I see we can't even go to the polls. We can't even vote. I mean, when we go to vote, I mean, I'm sorry to get on this, but please, as intelligent as we are, we shouldn't be voting. How in the world can you go vote for something that doesn't stand for anything, and you're only thinking of what you're sure of because who and what he says, when you don't believe him and you still go and vote anyways? That's disgusting. I haven't voted in my life. And if I did vote, I don't remember, and it certainly wasn't for anybody that sits in a GOV, because that's not me. Within 90 seconds, I think this computer will shut down on me because of what I just said. I'm so sure of it now. But I'm going to shut it down before that. By the 30-minute mark, I must be off. Where else are we going with this? Did I talk about, there was one other thing I wanted to mention, and it's going to take me more than that 90 seconds, I think. But I did the word for egg, which is this year. This is the design it makes. I have to put it on the roulette table. 9/11 it says. It also says 15 and 5. This is the 20 world of the doghouse, the French egg. E and U, universal, electronic. Oof, face of the egg of man. Okay? When you do amour, which is love in French, it says our. It also says more. It also says to die for. Mourir, the extension. When you get in here, 113, this year, this is the part of your skull that must be in love, 13 and 15. When you connect your 13th year, the AC, you connect to A&E, artificial electronic, universal resident angel, 666. Gives you 68, equals 48, and 14, 62 is the Queen's crown, sitting on the cross. Somehow there's a cross here, you put it on top of your head, it connects two sides, I don't know how. Somewhere down through here. It can't be here. It's got to be here, okay? Because the chickens, they got to pull that part out. That's how I know. Because it had to happen in life, and I had to see it. If I didn't see it, I wouldn't know to say it, and I wouldn't tell you. I only tell you what I see, I say I know. And I know it, but it doesn't mean that it's real. But it does happen. So in my reality, the way I used it is real of what they have, but why it really comes out, I don't know. And why I really remember that could be a deja vu, a coincidence, and maybe it's not. It's whatever you think I say, if whatever I say is valuable. As any word, wherever he got it from, I don't care, you can say. So anyways, 21 and 18 is the seventh inning stretch. 6 and 8, man in heaven in the seven world when he gets the cube. Man is only to 7. I think man is gematria. That's what I'm thinking. Not numbers. Numbers is the system. Man is gematria. There's only 2. It's Chaldean, okay, and gematria. That's it. The rest are numbers. Forget about it. Pythagorean it's like maybe from the beginning or something. Somehow, some way. It's maybe how they started it at the beginning, the first 9 numbers, and they went all the way around, and then they saved those first 9 numbers, okay, well, 7 of them for man. Well, actually not 7 because he was only a body, so he would have the 6. Man would get the 6, okay, and God would add in the 5. And when you look at 6 and 5 in roulette, the 5, here's the 5. Making the X. Man 6 makes these 3 over here. See what it makes? Is there a design in here you like? It makes the double. It means BC creation, because that's what the numbers create. You see? 1, 3, 5, 3, 5, 8. So Pythagorean and numbers must have started here. Then they take this. They have the reflection over here. They take this and flip it over this way. They take this and flip it over this way. They turn it one more time. They call it an omelet, which is the oof that I just said, and the other one, oof. The oof, the egg, oof, 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 that hurts, oof, oof. This is what Amour does. 1436, 1963, born on October the 10th of the 4th. This is my birthday right here. Amour comes up to my birthday. October 4th, 1963. This is in the 1000. This would be the month. Month, year, and day. Anyways, I can bullshit you with anything I want, right? This is the design, the number 4. But 2 and 3 from here to here. 6 and 8 goes from here to here. It says 7-4. House of the dog. 7-6-4 it actually says. So now you do all the combinations and it tells you what the relation is. And then when you do it over here, this becomes 8. You do it over here, this becomes 2. This is your time. Heaven, the love of life is inside your head. 7 and 4, you flip this upside down and it makes so much more. This 7, the way it is, will reflect the part of the Rodin coil design, connecting everything but the 5. The 5 is, like I showed you, the 5 is special. The 5 is a 5 and 4 special. This is your love. That's the way it's got to go. And it'll overlap. You see the way the corners overlap? Okay, we somehow ended up with a circle. Just by turning, you end up turning into a circle. Raphael, 7286. I'm not sure what I left out, but I'm way behind. Way behind. There is one design I might want to show you. Did I tell you about my dream last night? Little tiny things were flying in the air and catching like electronic birds of some sort. And then all of a sudden these giants were all around us and they cornered us. And we were on a beach. We weren't allowed to beach, and they corralled us up and they put us in these pastures where, not where cows go, but pastures with lots of people, and the dream ended. I woke up. Whew. The other thing I wanted to say is the Q letter. Listen to this. Q, V, Q. I witnessed to a life. 84, 84. I witnessed to the space of life. 34, 1771, 17 and 17, 22 and 17, which is the 13, 13, 13 worlds, the 3 worlds, they all have to get the same number. Then we add on from that, because you're 9, you're 6, and you're 3. 9, 6, and 3 from the cube, and you're 3, right? 9 and 6, and 3 is 18, angel residence 666. This is French for 84, which is also saying it's incredible. And it also says, like I said before, to the life I lived. because the sound of the letter or the word for the word that it is, this is a Q. It's okay, the Q, they also use the Q to represent the number 4. In English, they say 4. In French, they say 5, 4, which is 3 and 17. It's perfect. It makes 51. It connects everything to Mars. We know the Queen is connected to the 2 moons of Mars. That's why all the queens have 2 eyes in the deck of cards. 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, 4 by 4, 16. Okay. General Motors, what can we get? We brought them out of an egg, right? Ford. Ford's an egg. That's what it is. Every car dealer, every car, every tire, every thought you've ever had in your mind has been thought before. And it's been processed and it's been put out in some kind of geometrical book that over time grew into a code that only a computer can read, because it's every single language of every single place of the world. Some go in and some don't get in. There's only a certain number of area before languages break apart. They become sub-languages, then they go into different areas of Matrix. But Matrix keeps learning all these things because, hey, what a memory. What a memory. I'm trying to look for something. Yeah, I was doing this yesterday, but I'm not finished. I had to tear it out. I got all this done. And then, yeah, here's the red, here's the red, here's the red. Electric, electric, electric. But like I said, this one might have to flip over onto this one. Then this one would disappear, and the 0 or 00 would fall over here, which is actually area 51. But the 00 or 0 would go all around this over here and put everything in that area inside of it. There's your Q. Here's your 20. 80 is right here. Dead center, number 37. 3 by 37 is 111, the top floor of the Twin Towers. 3 by 17 is 51, Mars. 3 by 20 is 60, Mars on the clock of 20, the dark part, right up on top. So now I have to remember what I just said, okay? Why did I say that? I want to remember why I said that. I know at the end, Mars is correct, the 60 in time is correct, but there's more to this. The 0 that surrounds it, there's just so much. I don't know which question I've asked myself. Oh my God, there's so much. And you got to put something in the donut hole, right? So this would go over here. One would go on one side, man would go on the other side, or there would be an expanded one, and it would expand over to 3 sides, and man must take up 3 worlds inside one head. He's one of one of one. And then the vortex cuts in this way and cuts this way, cuts in this way, cuts this way, and then there's a ring. Somewhere in man, there's a ring of no passage, and there's a good chance that ring is his belly button, because it's tied up from, I have to know where that belly button goes, because that belly button ties a special ring that ties man together with himself. So the total equation of man 1 and 3 crustacean face of man, okay, now I remember what I was doing. 80. Okay, now I'm jumping off. What I was actually doing, I was talking about the Q letter and the V letter. V says life in French. Q says basically ass, or the queen, and the queen has the crown that has the 2 eyes, but since there's a reflection, they have 2 eyes on the top and 2 eyes on the bottom, blah, blah, blah. So I use the Q in that reference, because the Q, 88, which is 88, wit sounds like a W, but it's actually an H in French. But they don't even really spell it. It's H-U-I-T. But human intelligence, huit in French, is the 8. We are the 8 of the 9 life. We're the skeleton. We're the 8 of the 9 life, 2222. And we toot the horn of the 1 spirit of the 9 life. We are 1 part of the 8. But it takes more than 1 part to make man. There's nobody else here. We might have that other little tiny man inside our head. Maybe there is something else that's been done. I don't know. It sounds real, that every time someone's born, they can make him take his stuff and redo him the same way again. Why not? How can you not? Okay? If you take a plant, we can just take water. Today we're just giving plants water and they're growing. How can we not take a human being and take a sperm and an egg and then make something? And then attach it to a machine? Who says we can't? Who says we can't? Who says we don't? So I was talking about QVQ, okay, which is the two queens head tied up. 17 and 17 is 34, which also is a representation of neo, one enzo. One enzyme to one Neanderthal man. Okay, I'm talking about the Reboot the Show. I'm talking about Enzo from Reboot. I'm talking about Neo Anderson. And the word neo is Neanderthal. The word neo reversed is enzo, which is an enzyme, or you can also say the word one. So then the totality of 34 and 22 is 56. 56 is the electronic face. It's perfect. Now you have two sides. 22 and 17 is 39. 22 and 17 is 39. You now have 78. SS and S and S, you've created the four worlds. The S this way and the S this way makes your S's. They never do anything different. One S can be turning this way, the other S can be turning this way, but they turn inside each other, so it doesn't matter. So that's how we get the value of this Q. And that's why it's so important to do this in French. Because when I do this one in French, okay, when you do this one in French, this one comes out to the year 5781, the moons of Venus. 5781 is in 5 years. But because of the dice, oh, I'm so happy my computer didn't shut down. But because of the dice, right, as you can see, take away 6. 1 is alive inside of 3. Only remove 6. 5781, or 7 if you want, because it's the Hebrew time I'm looking at. Okay, in Hebrew time, remove 7. 5781. Take off, no, it's 6. It's the same thing. 5781, take off 6 is 5775. Okay? This is the only one that's a 6. This is a 1, and it stays a 1 on the other side because they're opposites of each other, and there is no dot in the center. So it's 7. But on this dice, okay, and on this dice, they duplicate in the corners. Only count what you see that is not duplicated. You see 5. Okay? You see 5? Only count what is not duplicated. How many do you see? 5. So we saw 5, 5, 5, 5. Well, that's it. 5, 5, 5, 5. 1, 2, 3. You saw all the sides. 1, 2, 3. But this is what happens. Because 3 is here with this, and they play together, this 1 is gone. So it's played this way. The game is played this way, or it's played this way. The 1 is the plug in the back of your head. So when you look to the back of my head, this is what you see. I'm plugged in to the back of my head. This is what you see. So that's 6. Because 1 is coming into it, it's really 5. But you and your nose become the 5 down to your toes, and everything goes inside. So this is the only 7. 2 sides get 7, and 4 sides get 5, where nothing doubles, right? Doubles, doubles. You see the doubles inside of here? 7, there's a double. They're all 5s. 4 sides are 5 equals 20. 2 sides are 7, which equals 14. And the 2 highest dice that resemble the same 6 of man, okay, but must double up in order to double up and reflect the mirror image of the system of matrix, is 4 and 6. 4 and 6 is 10, and the 4th of October, not the 6th, because the angel resident is the 5 and 6. You give his birthday before, he has his birthday, he's born, then he becomes 5 and 6. You want to call it the wolf, you want to call it man 11, October 4th, this year we blow the horn. The numbers I just showed you was 2014. 4 times 5 is 20, and there's only 2 ways that it's going to be this. Those are the only 2 ways. You have to use them both. That's 14. Okay? Now, in Hebrew, it's 5775. So, as we know, there was this side and this side created 7, because this side you look at, hey, what do you see? I see a 6. Well, what do you see? I see a 1. So both of them talked about, both of them count. 7, 7. This one is 5. This one is 5, whether you keep it this way or that way. This one was 7, that was 7. This one is 5, that one is 5. 57, 75. Hebrew year, Gregorian calendar, same thing. And there's more. The change in your pocket, 41 cents. Okay? And your 2 cents, that man always puts in his 2 cents, is 43. 43 by 47 time is 2021. 2021, 43 times 47 time of the mind of the man, the prism and the dog pound, the prism and the prism and the Mars sandbox. I stopped using that term. The prism of Earth and the Mars sandbox is 3 and 4. So this is 57. Excuse me. Time is 47. So 47 times the 43 equals 2021. If we use 50 stars and 30 the number of creation, or the 30 boxes in the eggs, plus the 43 or the 43rd president equals 1, 2, 3, equals 5775 or 2021, but remove the 6 and 1 because the light doesn't come in here on the Gregorian calendar. Okay, the difference is we need to use both once we come to this body Gregorian calendar, not on the Hebrew calendar. I only remove 6. We're in the year 5775. 1, 2, 3, ABC, Jackson 5s. J-A, J. The A and the I come together to create the J, which is I am, I have. Jack, C-K, creation of beta. Well, when beta comes on C, right? Beta is the 2. When beta comes on C, when beta comes on key, beta comes on key as the K, the crown. It comes on as the crown that makes up, that supports the Q. The 2 kings that support the Q, the crown, beta. The letter K equals 11. 11 is 2. So now J-A-C-K is A-I-J-B-C. Jack, born before Christ. In the time before Christ, Jack is born. When was he born? He's born in 3 B.C. 3 B.C. is what this says over here. Okay, because K is just like a B. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. AC connectors for the cube of 21, 10 and 11. I told you the first one ends up playing in C. So C is just like A, and this is just like B. C is before K, and C is more than you think, because in the deck of cards, the C is like this, not like this. The 3 card holds an ace inside of it in the deck of cards. It's not me. It's what they did. What you did, whoever created whatever you created in games people play, the notes and the rules, I'm only looking at it with questions. And I'm answering my questions, and I'm just sharing. Anyways, can you make me mad? Do I get mad? Do I like everything? No, I'm just like a normal person, just like everybody else. I know very little bit about a lot of stuff. I make up half this crap, but I make sure that it's all real within inside my mind. Okay, I call it crap because there's so much and so little that may help anybody at all. In bits and pieces, it's very tasty, these shrimps I serve. Yeah, I'm just like a normal person. I mean, I'd like to see. I've never really had a chance besides being home cooped up doing this all the time. But I have a chance. Don't say that, Ronnie. That wouldn't be fair. Okay, I take that back. I don't want to say anymore. 49 minutes. 49 minutes. I've used up all my time. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. I just want to say one thing. Something small. I also designed amour in numbers over here, and this is what it comes out to be. Almost like the word love. But don't forget, you have to use a little bit of your thought. If I don't make I made it small, okay? Remember I told you you must hit all the points? I made the smallest points possible. Usually this footing should not be here, but in order for me to close a line in or out, because anything closed in or out becomes a door that opens and closes. If it was straight, it'd be a wall. So I put it in to say, hey, look, it goes in. That means it's an opening or there's a door there. So that's why I do this over here. I spread it open, okay, as if it's a wall. But because I need the what's it called? You see the design in here? How can I explain this? So I design it out so it ends up this. It's not really this, but when you make it small, this is what happens. We have to make things bigger. We have to make things smaller for whatever reason, because the reason is to see if there's a difference. That's all. We don't know. To see if there's a difference, that's always our best reason. The difference makes all the reason in the world. And it's always good to try and best to just try and understand what you're getting into every time you do something. Raphael, 7286 in a constellation of Pegasus. I'm no more ahead than before. Well, time went by. It's 3:03. It's my favorite time. There is one other thing that I did not mention in the video, or I did last night, and it's really, really cool. Maybe I'll do it in my next video. It has to do with the leap time. Leap time, the time that we... No, sorry, it has to do with moving your clock forward and back and the different time zones in the world. Because I did a multiplication of the different time zones in the world, and the reflection is incredible. And also the change of time. Thank you for watching. Sorry to waste your last 2 minutes.